The modern gaming industry creates games for players with different schedules and levels of commitment. Spending days getting through a long, challenging RPG is great in its own right, but many players simply don't have the time for that kind of game. Because of this, shorter games are often preferred because they fit a great experience into a smaller package. The sweet spot for video games that take a few days to complete is 10 to 20 hours from start to finish. And this allows players to take advantage of a 2 or 3 day weekend break without requiring too much commitment. It's rare that a game can tie its mechanics into its story as gracefully as 2018's Celeste. This mainstay of the indie scene uses a unique platforming system to create a memorable game in a small package. While there are endless skills to master, the main campaign is a set of platforming levels that are tough but not unforgiving. In combination with its excellent accessibility options, this makes for a modern platformer that rivals Nintendo. The mechanics present in each level don't come out of nowhere, with each being a representation of the main character's feelings and traits. The most common theme among them is the idea of constantly ascending and pushing forward, with both the player and the protagonist feeling the same sense of determination to work through the challenges of the game. This allows Celeste to have depth without being too long and wearing itself out. Without question, Minecraft is one of the most important games in history. Its popularization of crafting in open-world games is still causing reactions and ripple effects to this day, and its widespread popularity has made it recognizable to everyone. Besides that, it's one of the most open-ended games ever released, with very little direction given to players. This means that beating Minecraft can mean any number of things, from defeating the Ender Dragon to finishing a creative mode build. This gives every possible playstyle inherent value for any player. Most gamers already own a copy of Minecraft, and its simple mechanics mean that even those who don't can pick it up easily. This gives the game its friendly, user-driven experience that players gravitate to. Minecraft's sandbox nature means it's easy to dive into and to take a break from. It'll always be there when players are looking for it. While it's still in early access, there's plenty in Ultra Kill for fans of older FPS games to enjoy. Taking inspiration from Quake, this arena platformer uses a massive catalogue of mechanics to create dynamic combat encounters. However, its gory visual style and old-school attitude hide a wealth of accessibility options that ensure anyone can play Ultra Kill. This gives the game a unique sense of player freedom, as it puts fun first and worries about the rest as it happens. The quality of every aspect of Ultra Kill is truly a sight to behold. Its level design, in particular, gives players opportunities to build momentum throughout each stage, offering a wide range of skill expressions depending on what each player is comfortable with. This allows the game to feel like it's reacting to the player's choices by providing enough options for every situation. Much of the Souls series has an optional boss or two, giving players more options. 2017's indie darling Hollow Knight takes this to the extreme, with its optional content almost outnumbering what's required to beat the game. This allows for astonishing levels of fine-tuning the game, as players can choose exactly what to do beyond the few bosses that must be defeated to progress. In combination with its simple, effective mechanics, this creates an environment of player expression and freedom that can rival nearly any other game. This unique aspect makes the game great for players with limited time. A casual Hollow Knight run can take anywhere between 10 and 20 hours, especially considering the truly hard content is usually off the beaten path. For players who like the challenge of Dark Souls or Castlevania, Hollow Knight can give the same satisfaction while also being a truly reactive experience. Taking inspiration from deck-building games like Slay the Spire, 2021's Inscryption takes those mechanics in a different direction. The story told by Inscryption is bizarre, unnerving, and at times heartbreaking, using its format to keep players off their guard. It's truly a unique game, as most similar games structure themselves as roguelikes rather than fully contained narratives. This, along with its forays into multiple other genres, ensures Inscryption is always surprising no matter what happens. Inscryption takes players across escape room-like puzzles, in-depth deck-building mechanics, and even some hints of retro JRPGs. Despite this wide variety of experiences, the game keeps itself from getting too long and ensures that each moment of gameplay is necessary. By doing this, the developer was able to make a dynamic game that doesn't overstay its welcome and is well suited to time-limited playthroughs. A truly groundbreaking achievement for indie games, 2004's Cave Story was created from the ground up by one developer. Because of this, the game's style constantly permeates every part of the game, giving it its unique charm and personality. Its simplistic run-and-gun gameplay hides depths of skill and player expression, with its movement perfectly synchronizing with its combat and innovative core systems. For new players, a full playthrough of Cave Story will take plenty of time to fill up a weekend due to its controls taking a bit of time to get used to. More experienced players can put themselves through the true ending, which requires going through one of the most difficult levels in any platformer. This gives different players options for how they want to customize their own experience, giving Cave Story widespread appeal as well as great replay value. 2004's Half-Life 2 is one of the most iconic games in FPS history, for good reason. Its innovative engine and game design philosophy helped make Valve a household name, and it was an excellent start to the Steam platform. Despite its contributions to the gaming industry, it's still relatively short at just 13 chapters. With each chapter taking between 1 and 2 hours, it's the perfect combination of puzzles and high-energy action, with natural and organic points to stop and take a break. The most interesting aspect of Half-Life 2 is how it feels more like a puzzle game than a shooter at times, even when enemies are around. Each combat scenario is structured excellently, taking advantage of interesting mechanics that add depth. The way the game teaches players how to deal with later situations through constant reinforcement represents some truly masterful design. Valve's flagship Portal series is full of unique mechanics that have shaped the design of many recent puzzle games. 2011's Portal 2 brings even more to the table in its dynamic physics-based systems, creating a more open-ended puzzle experience that players gravitate to. This game truly uses its engine to its fullest potential, giving the now Necolic Source engine more possibilities than those that were presented in the FPS games it's known for. Princess Vertigo, one of Portal 2's most popular, but in some exclusive, games you can build, and even the idea of a first-person puzzle platformer is novel, adding to Portal 2's distinctly real feeling. Both Portal games are concise, with high-quality level design that makes every moment engaging. While the puzzles and environments in Portal 2 can be tricky to navigate, players who think on their feet can quickly assess the situation to find a solution. This allows players to feel smart when they complete a challenge without the game being too difficult to work through. Shovel Knight has been a major player in the return of NES-style platformers. The games on that console were tough, giving players an extreme challenge that was difficult to get into. Shovel Knight mainly implemented a fairer structure to the game, ensuring that deaths felt like the player caused them. Most uniquely, one game wasn't where the developers, Yacht Club, stopped. Today, Shovel Knight includes 4 separate campaigns that follow different stories with completely different playstyles. Shovel Knight includes a story to go with 4 stories that follow sort of different storylines with completely different playstyles. Shovel Knight's multifaceted gameplay gives players more options. Shovel of Hope gives players more diverse skill expression, while Spectre of Torment is more fast-paced and stylish. The choice the player pursues is directly suited to how they prefer to play, and each campaign is just long enough to feel satisfying without overstaying its welcome. This adds at least a few playthroughs of replay value, even without simply replaying a fun game. And this is no slight, because no matter how much you replay with different campaigns that both inspire you and rise, there's always at least a few playthroughs of replay value, even without simply replaying a fun game. It's difficult to truly describe Undertale beyond calling it one of the most important indie games of the last decade. It uses the average player's understanding of a JRPG against them, forcing them to examine and recontextualize a typically static genre. Undertale's dedication to making players reconsider the consequences of their actions extends even to external mechanics like saving and loading, creating depth in areas most games overlook. And past all of that is a message of love and compassion that has touched the hearts of players since 2015. Most impressively, Undertale manages to pack every screen with content and keep each playthrough short. Out of the game's 3 routes, only one takes more than an afternoon, through some required grinding and more difficult fights, which are both a direct effect of the player's choice to keep going down a darker path.